So we are now embarking on the new year in 2021 with Stadia, and while a lot of the big games have launched recently, we still have a few things to look forward to, especially in January of the new year. So with that, in today's video, we're going to cover the full pro games coming out for Stadia, as well as the new titles with confirmed dates. We'll also take a guess at what games we might see come this January that haven't been announced. Like always, subscribe for more Stadia content, like and hit that notification bell. So we'll start this video with January's pro games. We're going to go ahead and then work our way to the newest titles, and then towards the end we'll speculate on which games. Timestamps will be available, so of course the biggest game coming to the pro lineup will be F1 2020. This is a game that is barely only 6 months old now, but it's my favorite racing game of 2020. What really makes it stand out is almost the extreme detail to a sim racer you'll find. You can embark on a career and own your own racing team, control every aspect of it, from the sponsors to the parts of your car to your partner that rides with your team, uniforms to the people you hire. It's a very in-depth game, and it's also very difficult. With that, you can turn it into a more arcadey approach, but you'll need to mess with the game settings for that. Overall, this is my favorite racer, and I expect this to be my favorite racing franchise for many years to come. I'm excited though that you guys all get to try this out when it comes out on January 1st as a pro title. So Ori and the Secret of Seasons is a game that when it had launched, I had told you guys hold back because it launched with a lot of bugs. Some were even very game-breaking. Now, while bugs still exist in the game themselves, they've managed to fix some of those that ruin the title. Now it's an okay game, giving you those Zelda type of vibes, diving deep into dungeons, challenging boss fights, manipulating the weather to your advantage, and tackling the massive amount of puzzles that the game has to offer. And I feel like this now brings a solid title to the forefront of a good pro game, and one that I am glad is coming to Stadia Pro, as the launch was very rocky, and I think they've made up for it since. We'll see how it pans out soon, and of course this one will be free to claim with your pro subscription. Figment is hitting our libraries on January 1st, and it's a top-down adventure featuring a game filled with puzzles, a musical score that is very pleasing, and a relaxed but fun adventure with plenty of combat. Now, I haven't had a chance myself to dive into this one, but from all accounts it boasts really good user reviews across the board. It also has very good marks from Stadia users. It's a charming game and one that I think a lot of you will enjoy, so I hope you guys do give it a chance when it does hit the pro lineup. Alright, so on the surface, Hotline Miami doesn't look like much. The graphics look a bit dated, gameplay is top-down with a lot of difficulty, and you will be dying quite a bit. But do not sleep on this title. It takes place in 1989, and honestly, it features an amazing soundtrack. The gameplay is fast and furious, the story is extremely fun and wild, all the while the game not being too long for you to enjoy, but you will die a lot, like I said. I couldn't recommend this game more, and with close to over 50,000 positive user reviews, that really reinforces that. I'm glad to see this one come as a pro game, and I'm definitely going to be playing it myself here soon when it comes on January 1st. So Scott Pilgrim vs. the World has to be a game that easily stands the test of time. I take a look at the visuals of a game that is almost 10 years old now, and to me this still looks wonderful. A classic beat-em-up style of gameplay for me never gets old and definitely brings back the nostalgia, but the game also features a really classic but good soundtrack as well. The game is a Ubisoft title, so I expect it to be on Ubisoft Plus with your subscription. Otherwise, the rest of us will be buying this game on January 14th when it finally does hit the Stadia store. So bringing us to the two newest games now hitting the Stadia lineup this January, and easily a game that I'm extremely hyped over, Hitman 3, the final conclusion to the series that kicked off back in 2016, is not only coming to finish off the trilogy, but is coming with a Stadia exclusive feature in State Share, which has you setting up a save point that your fellow Stadia gamer can then take over at the exact same spot that you left off. That means what's in your inventory, what enemies are coming at you at that exact point, whatever the case may be. The trilogy will continue the first two, so if you happen to play through both the first two titles, you'll be able to bring over your maps, levels, and progress into the third. Unfortunately, this third one will not feature any multiplayer, but the single player should be a blast either way. And for me, Hitman will always be the #1 stealth assassination game ever, so I'm very excited for this one when it does hit Stadia on January 20th. So Gods Will Fall is set to come at the end of the month, and I have to say I don't have a ton of info on this game, but you have two warriors you can play as, and you'll be battling your way way through 3 Infernal God Realms. Studying some gameplay, the game seems to have a bit of a slow pace to it, maybe some Dark Souls-like difficulty in its combat, but it's a top-down action-adventure game, and it will be interesting to see more info as we get closer, as I do trust the publisher in Deep Silver. But of course, we'll have to see what happens when this releases on January 29th. Alright, so that brings us to the portion of the video where we have to start taking some guesses, because I'm going to be frank with you guys, there is a crap ton of games coming in 2021 to Stadia, and we aren't seeing a scheduled title until mid-January. To me, that cannot be right. We are going to see more releases, they just aren't announced. Last month, I think I guessed like more than 10 games, but I don't expect to have that same luck this month. FIFA and Madden are 2 titles we're supposed to see this winter. I don't feel we'll see them in January, but it's always a possibility. More realistically, hopefully, we finally see the release of the Mafia trilogy. I'd love to see some big bang titles though, like Rainbow Six Siege, and I'll go on a limb and guess that we could see it this January. But the most realistic titles that I can think of are the pro games that were set to come in early 2021. That is Ark Survival Evolved and Journey to the Savage Planet. Now, we only got 4 pro games this past month when we've been getting 6 on a consistent basis, so I'm suspecting that one of these are going to drop mid-month, or even both, or at the very worst we'll see them both on February 1st. Either way, with that, let me know, guys, what games are you guys excited for this upcoming January, whether it's a new title or a pro game, and let me know your guesses for titles that you think we'll see in the new year. I'm curious to hear all your thoughts. As always, subscribe, like, hit that notification bell. I'm Sunny, and I'll see you guys in the cloud.